Welcome to the Co-Host Bros Podcast, where we break down everything short-term rentals, entrepreneurship, and building a profitable hospitality business. Whether you're a host, investor, or property manager, we share real strategies, real insights, and real experiences to help you scale smarter and grow faster. Let's dive in.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 94, the best podcast blasting through your speaker doors. I'm Matt Codd, hanging out with Austin Spitzenberger with the Co-Host Bros podcast, and today we have Josh George. What is up, everybody?
Hey,
what's up?
Here.
Yeah, happy to have you here, man. That was a good intro there, Matt. Like I feel like that was,
yeah.
I mean, sometimes they're pretty good. Sometimes they're regular. I feel like that was probably one of the smoother flowing ones. So
I don't think that was mid. I think that was pretty good. Yes, I agree. Thank you.
I mean, when you said that, did you feel like kind of mic drop? Were you like, yeah, dude, that was smooth? Or what's your feedback on that?
I was just taking a shower and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start naming the episodes like I did last time, and then so we can keep track of what episode. And I was like, I'm gonna make it rhyme. And then I was like, oh, I'm a poet, didn't know it, and that's what we went with,
It's definitely the best one. It's the best one I've ever heard while I've been a guest on the podcast. So
see, it's gonna be hard when we get to like 96, because like what rhymes with 96? A lot of bad words, so it's like it might be rough, but I think we could figure this out. Hopefully, maybe we'll make it a new trend. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, either way, it was good. But yeah, let's jump into our guest today, Josh, man. What's up, dude? For those people that maybe don't know about you yet, give us a little bit of background of kind of how you got into the space and what you got going on today.
It's Josh, as you mentioned. I am the owner and founder of Deja Vu Vacation Rentals. We are a short-term vacation rental management company in Southern California, focusing primarily on Palm Springs area, Indio, Los Angeles, San Diego, all that kind of stuff. And I grew up, I'm the son of a real estate owner, broker. Like my mom has been in real estate, still is, for over 40 years. And I didn't want anything to do with it. So I went and became a film major in college and moved to LA and went the world of film and found my way to Apple and their advertising department, made TV commercials for a long time. Meanwhile, fortunately acquiring some properties and doing short-term rentals on them. And I don't know, I feel like just like a lot of people, like we just happen to be good at it without, it just kind of instinctively came to us. And some other people, Palm Springs, and that did well. And once the pandemic hit, I really kind of realized that so much of the job that I loved in advertising and film was the social aspect, being around people and meeting people. And once that got taken away, it was just the work. And I realized the work wasn't really enough. Meanwhile, I had this whole thing and I just decided to go for it one day and said, you know what, I'm going to commit a year to this. And if I don't make any money, I'll reevaluate it. And luckily within 2-3 months, I think we had like 6 or 7 homes that we managed, and it's just been growing ever since. And now we're at about 60. So it's a full-time thing. We have a team. We got great guests, great cleaners, great everyone. And, as you know, you're always on call, but I'd rather do that than clock in and clock out.
Yeah, no, for sure. So let me get this straight. So you moved out there for, when you say film, what does that mean? Like, are you doing, and maybe you said this and I just didn't catch it. Are you trying to be like a actor or producing the stuff in this time period?
No, so
No, I mean,
you never know. I mean, I've been in a thing or two, but no, it was mainly to direct, to write and stuff like that. And I worked for Apple's advertising agency for a while, and any Apple commercial you saw, I probably had a hand in that. I've directed a few commercials here and there, and I really did enjoy it, but I didn't enjoy it when people were taken out of it,
Yeah. Yeah. So remind me like the backstory. I know exactly who you are. I knew what you did, but like we started messaging on Facebook about something. Do you remember the specific problem that it was? What was
Yes, I
something?
do. I know, I do. I
Okay.
do.
Yeah.
It,
Run me through it just because I want to
yeah,
recap that and just like, I feel like that would
yeah.
be a good example for just our audience to hear like what problem you were facing and like how did you solve it?
Is this, am I just telling you, or is this are we
Yeah,
recording
no,
this?
I'm curious because I'm trying to refresh too. Yeah, just tell me
Okay.
tell me what was
So
that problem again? It was
I
like something
had,
about go ahead.
yeah, I had an owner reach out to me who has about 6 or 7 super, super high end properties. And they make a ton of money, but she only wanted to pay 10% instead of
I feel like he
money.
keeps cutting out.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
your audio keeps cutting it out. I mean, it'll be good in the local recording, but then we got to keep backtracking to know what you're saying. But
Yeah, no, like for like 20 seconds, 10 or 20 seconds,
now you're
you'll
muted.
like
You're
cut out.
muted. You're
We
muted.
can cut all this part out. We can cut all this part out of the
Okay.
episode. But like whenever you start talking and then like 20 minutes,
This is
like 20,
iPhone.
10 or 20 seconds will go by and it'll be like, then you'll come back in.
It
So does that make
for
sense?
some reason it kept switching to my iPhone microphone, so I just turned my iPhone microphone off.
Okay, good deal. So we'll
So
just sorry, go ahead, Matt. What?
No, we're not going to edit it. Just keep going. I mean, I'm not going to edit
so
it. No, I might edit.
so
I'll edit it.
Probably should.
basically, I'm happy to start over too. Basically, she wanted to pay half of what our normal rates were, but that half still would have been a lot of money, but it was going down that route of like setting that precedent and knowing what you're worth and not giving your business away for, even though it's still a lot of money, it's said, people who generally ask for that are typically going to be even more work and harder to manage from an owner's perspective. And, guests who spend this kind of money are also sometimes demanding, and, it's just not worth it to do it for less,
And that was in like the Palm Springs, Indio area, right?
Yeah, there were
So I
like
want to be
6 or
clear
yeah.
for like the people in the audience, like a lot of those houses do 250 plus. I got a friend who
Oh
has
yeah.
house with lazy rivers and stuff, and he does ridiculous, like stupid numbers. So it was a lot of money you were turning down, right?
It was well into the 6 figures of potential commission that we were turning away, but it was people who I from doing this enough, it was people who I could tell were going to be not necessarily difficult, but a lot to manage. It would have taken time. And, theoretically we could just go get 10 more properties at standard rates and standard sizes and maybe just make the same amount,
And was it all one client that owned all of the listings?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they like, I guess at this level, like, so, and it's not uncommon, I think, for like one of the requests they were asking was like, we need someone to meet somebody at the property, right?
Yeah.
So
They
was
wanted
was
someone to
that
meet them
something you
there. Yeah.
mentioned?
Yeah, they wanted us to meet them there. I mean, we would have taken it very seriously. We would have sent someone to inspect after people left, check them in when they got there, and it was a lot of money, but it was extra expenses that we would have had to incur.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. It sounds like you made the right decision, and I probably would have done the same thing too. There's just a certain number of red flags that come up. I mean, maybe if they would have paid like 15% or like, I don't know, if the juice
That's
was,
that's what I proposed to
yeah.
them. We started it. Our standard rate for short-term rentals in this area is 25%, and that includes like toilet paper and paper towels and stuff like that. I initially went to 22%. They wanted 10%. I eventually said I can do this at 15, and then they
Yeah.
said no. So
Yeah,
They
that
said
would be
no.
good. $150,000 in commission, right? But then you're like, that would make sense. But then you're like, if you do 10%, it's like 100,000 in commission, but now it's your operating costs are going to go up because you got to send somebody every single turn on 6 different
right,
properties. So you have to
right.
pay for that through the whole
And,
year. So
yeah,
that starts
and the thing
eating
is,
into it.
we're growing too. It's
Yeah.
not like we're not bringing on properties anyway. So I would rather not increase my expenses, bring on the same amount of properties, and make 60% of the commission. I might net the same amount. and because, and you, I mean, I don't know how much experience you have with one owner that owns a lot of properties, but if that owner is a lot, now you have just, it's hurt you, because most likely if you had 6 properties and 6 different owners, not all 6 of them are going to require the same amount of hand-holding or attention or things like that. So, it could have gone either way with that. So I agree. And when we talked, it definitely helped me, make that decision. So I appreciate it.
So what was your advice, Austin? Let's hear it. Everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to hear what you had to say about it.
I'm pretty sure, I don't remember, Josh. What did I say? I think I'm pretty sure I said like I wouldn't do that.
I think you said it in a more let's romanticized way, I think, where it was like, you don't want to devalue your product and your service just because money is being thrown at you, and that it can set a dangerous precedent to future clients. Like if they refer you to someone else, they're going to obviously ask, well, what are you paying them? And now it starts to get around that you do stuff for 10%. You know what I mean?
I think when you made the post, a lot of people already had like a definite answer. And I think for me, it wasn't clear. I think I was flip-flopping because I was like, hey, like there's more to this. Like,
oh yeah,
give me
the context, of course.
Yeah. I mean, you can only put so much before people lose attention anyway. So like you put it, the post was good, but like people were just like, no, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, definitely do that. It's like, there's so many unanswered questions that like, you probably want to know this, like, what is the owner like? Like, what are the properties like? What additional expenses is going to be? If they don't require someone to go to the property, for example, and you could run it like every other property in your portfolio, and you're like, okay, well, I can add 6 properties at 10%. That's going to do $1 million. And that's going to add 100,000 in commission, but I don't have to send someone every time. Well, that's different because like that I might maybe do something like that, but even 10% is kind of low, but that is like guaranteed 100 grand in commission, right? So
yeah, and if we weren't growing, it would be different. If we hadn't gotten a new property in 3, 4, 5 months, sure. But we're growing with extremely limited marketing. We're doing 15 to 20 houses a year, steady, and that's just happening. So I would rather grow at that kind of slow pace, knowing what we're getting into on our terms, than start kind of reshifting everything and redoing operations and having to make new systems, when it's probably coming towards us anyway in the future.
Yeah. Especially if you run 60 properties a different way. Now you've got to
that's what I was thinking. That's what's tough, right? Is you add, if everything goes already the same and now you got 6 properties you got to do something totally different for. Now you have like new SOPs, you got new things that everybody has to follow, and you're like, fuck, what do I do? Right. So it's like, that just makes it more stressful. Honestly, I mean, the fact that you counted with 15, I think is actually really nice of you. If I were to counter with 15, I would say you're going to pay for the person to go there and do the checks, or I would have countered and say, well, you want all this, so it is going to be 25. But I mean, it's tough because there's just so much money sitting there, and you're like, should I do it? Should I not? But it's like, if you think to like in the experience you have, or even what you've heard from other people, whatever the case may be, anytime you negotiate, it fucking does not work out. Anytime you negotiate, anytime you lowball yourself, anytime you give somebody extra, ends up creating a problem for you later. Like always. It's
same
crazy.
with guests too. I mean, the most problematic guests are the folks that ask for a discount up front, or can you include the pool heat, or like all this kind of stuff. And it's just, they tend to be the people that are freaking out because there's a single hair on a pillow, or, like things like that. So yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah. There's some crazy houses over there though. I mean,
trust me. These are the houses that I look at and I'm like, man, how do we get those properties? Like,
you got any with Lazy River?
That we would have if we said yes, but
I bet you. I wonder if, because I got a friend who manages some with Lazy River. I wonder if that's who he is. I want to get you guys in contact with each other.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that'd be awesome. But no, I mean, our houses, we love our houses. I mean, we definitely specialize more in your kind of standard single family home, 3 and 4 bedroom. They range from luxury to kind of more mom and pop style, but it's a niche that we've been able to do really well in, and it's something that we understand the expectations of the guests. We feel like we have a good correspondence with the owners, and we're very happy to grow in that space too, but we definitely have the people and the capability to jump into huge like estates.
So is this more of like is this more of a traditional like vacation market, or is this more of a metro market? Like what is the like what is the traveler like, what does the avatar look
Yeah.
like? What does your market look like? That's the question.
Well, I mean, we manage all over Southern California. The primary destinations would be the Palm Springs area or Los Angeles. Los Angeles is top 3 most visited cities in the country. So there really is no such thing as a typical traveler. It is not a vacation market. It is just a constant, people coming in, people coming out for any reasons. We literally just hosted, I think, Steve Harvey's fashion designer for the Grammys at one of our houses. And he was just there for the Grammys. And then someone else is an editor. Someone else is visiting their mother. Someone's doing construction on their house and need a place to stay. So that's LA. In Palm Springs, it is 100% vacation, because really the only time that's bearable to even be there is November through May. Outside of that, it's 115 degrees. And even if you go there, the pool is like 95. It's disgusting. It's like, it's not, I mean, people still go. I mean, don't get us wrong, but it's certainly a high season and a low season. So one thing that has really affected us, I wouldn't say affected us financially, but in terms of the type of traveler is, Palm Springs is one of the destinations for Canadians in the winter. We call them snowbirds. They come for a month, 2 months, 3 months at a time, and they rent a house and they play golf and tennis. And typically they're seniors, but with, I don't know if it's political struggles or economic struggles or tension or whatever between the US and Canada, there's a huge push in Canadian to travel to the United States. So while we are still getting booked, it is very few Canadians and a lot more people from like Seattle or Minnesota still escaping the cold. But that part of it has definitely shifted a little bit, but it's definitely a big tourism market.
So, so you're like, do you live in like LA, or is that where you still live, in LA?
So I split my time between both places. I would say primarily LA, but I am constantly out in the Palm Springs area. I'm going
So
this
like
week,
you're like
next
3 to 4 hours. You manage like 3 to 4 hours from where you are. So like you're like a 2-hour radius.
I mean, it could be expanded to 4,
Yeah.
but right now it's about a 2 to 2.5 hour radius, because San Diego is 2 hours south of LA. Big Bear. I mean, we don't do Big Bear right now, but we could theoretically, and I'd be very comfortable with that. I mean, I feel like any of us who are seasoned in this, I mean, we could go to Florida if we wanted. It's just a matter of it just hasn't gone that way, and we've just been growing more naturally locally.
So like I wasn't in this business when I lived in California, but how are the regulations out there when it comes to, I know that San Diego only has like a certain amount of permits, but how is it like LA? I mean, sure, Palm Springs is more lenient, but
it's every city in California has regulations. I don't think you're going to find anywhere where it's just do whatever you want anymore. Which, is a bummer, but at the same time, it's understandable. I mean, these cities want to make their money and their TOT taxes and stuff like that. In LA and Palm Springs are the two most strict. In LA specifically, there was a huge trend where people were buying apartment buildings, and every single apartment in that apartment building was an Airbnb. And not only that, every room in every apartment was its own listing. So it was like hotel rooms, but within the rooms, and so that became a real problem. So right now they've changed it. So in LA, you can only do short-term rental on your primary residence. Now, your primary residence is just what it is on paper, right? I mean, you don't have to literally live there. They want you to, but it just your name has to be on the deed. It can't be owned by a company. You get 120 nights a year, and then you can apply for extended home sharing. So if you know what you're doing, it's not difficult, but you can't have more than one permit to your name, things like that. In Palm Springs, you can do whatever you want, but there is a limit to the number of reservations you can have per year. So we have to be extremely strategic with our minimum stay strategy. So we are trying to get 1 to 2 month-long bookings a year because those don't count towards 26 a year. You're only allowed 26 a year.
Jeez.
Yeah. But I mean, it works out in a way because a lot of people come for a week or 2 weeks or a month. The months don't count. And then in the summer, it's just weekends or maybe nothing. So it obviously, I think everyone would make more money if you didn't have that, but those are the regulations. And then in places like Indio, you can do whatever you want as long as you have a permit. And that's the majority of the other desert cities. And same in LA, you can do whatever you want as long as you have a permit.
That's crazy. 26 reservations. That's wild.
Per year. Yeah.
Yeah. My buddy's in Sacramento and I used to live out that way. And I was talking, he had built a couple ADUs in his backyard and he's like, hey, I want to short-term rent it. And I was like, well, here's all the regulations. And he's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't if I were you either.
I would say in LA, it is very like midterm rentals are extremely successful.
Yeah.
It is a huge market for midterm rentals. I was doing short-term rentals out of my ADU and I stopped just because I was so focused on the company and all these other 59 places. I didn't want to have to worry about what was going on in my backyard and have cleaners constantly coming and stuff like that. And that place has been rented for 18 months straight by probably like 10 or 11 different people. And so
awesome.
it's definitely a good market for that, I would say.
So as a non-California guy here, what is a ADU? Like explain that to me, because I'm picturing like a guest house, back house kind of thing.
Exactly. So an ADU is a legally permitted guest house that or your garage you convert it into, or a brand new structure in your backyard or even in your front yard. And it has its own address. It has its own certificate of occupancy. You can't just convert your garage and put a bathroom in it and legally rent it.
I don't know. San Jose.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know if there was this huge story about this woman in the Hollywood Hills, maybe a year and a half ago, who rented an Airbnb and just never left. And it was like 500 something days of her being stuck in there, and the owner couldn't do anything. And that's because he was renting out a non-permitted ADU, like something he just did without permits. He didn't have a certificate of occupancy. So he couldn't get the certificate of occupancy without going inside, but he wasn't being allowed to go inside. So he couldn't get the certificate of occupancy to then kick her out. So it was a big thing. So but if you do things the right way, it might be a little bit more expensive up front, but it will certainly pay off given the cost of living out here. My guest house is 240 square feet and it makes $3,000 a month. So that's California. That's LA. It's like, it's going to cost you more, but you're going to make more. It's going to pay off in the end if you do it right.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. So how do you track, like, if you have only allowed X amount of stays and you manage 60 properties, how do you track each individual property? Like, I'm sure you have some kind of system in place, but making sure that you don't go over that limit. And if you do go over that limit, are they even going to catch you? Like, what's that look like?
Well, in Palm Springs specifically, that's the only city that has the reservation limit. It is all technically self-reporting. So you could just not report certain things, or you could say a stay was longer than it actually was, and you will get away with it until you get audited. And we've been audited once. Luckily, we do everything by the book, and we just handed them all of our Airbnb and VRBO payouts and this and that, and everything matched up. So we were all good. But if, I know some people that do it and they do 50, 60 reservations a year, and maybe they go in and fudge the numbers after. I don't know. But that, for us, how we track it, we have a multitude of systems and softwares. Like we use Slack, we use HostAway for our property management software, and we use a business management software called Notion. And within Notion, everything is tracked. It's like a Monday or like something like that. So everything is tracked in there with the property, the number of reservations we've hosted, the number we're allowed. And then you have to, once you get a reservation, you have to also go to the city's website and put it in this address, and then it'll populate how many you have left and so on and so forth. So it's also tracked in the city's system as well. But one thing that there's two things I pride myself on. Number one is communication, being fast and getting back to people. And number two is creating systems that are organized and flow really well, and everything is tracked and everything's accounted for. So those are two things that definitely help us. But I know other management companies out there are not like that. And it's kind of running gun systems. So it can cause a little chaos.
Yeah, for sure. So how long have you been doing this for vacation rental management?
For myself, I would say since 2017, professionally full time since August 2022.
So let's say, okay. When did I guess for my question is if you got to 60 listings, what was like the main way that you were signing clients?
Like I said before, we don't really do any marketing at all. I think I maybe do like $200 a month on Yelp ads, but that's it. Everything. And then I would say a lot of things come from Yelp and a lot of things come from Google. We do not get a lot of referrals. I feel like owners out here are very competitive and they don't want to send us more business because they think it's going to take away from their business. But also buying a house in California it's not easy. It's expensive. So not as many people I think are able to do that. But I would say, honestly, just online, people just finding us and having good reviews. And then once I feel like I talk to them on the phone, I feel like they can trust me. They feel like I know what I'm talking about. I show them previous homes. The communication, again, I feel like that is such a huge thing. My dad drilled into my head as a kid, just get back to people. Even if you don't have an answer, just let them know you don't have an answer. And I feel like that goes such a long way. And I certainly get frustrated when people don't get back to me or miss a call and don't let me know or things like that. But I don't know. It's been very organic. I can't say that we do a lot of mailers or source leads or anything like that. It's just kind of been people finding us online and having a good online presence with good reviews and I guess impressing people on the phone or in person or anything like that.
Yeah, so referrals and just finding you online and just being around long enough to where you guys look good enough. You look like you know what you're doing. People call and
you know what I
want to work
actually
with you.
one thing I did do is I jumped into all of the Facebook groups, the local like Palm Springs Airbnb Facebook group, LA Facebook group, and I would just help everybody. Even if it had nothing to do with getting business or anything like that. Anybody had a question, I jumped in and I gave my opinion just like you did with me. I just helped a lot of people. And then I don't know if maybe one person's told me this directly, but I feel like I became a source of knowledge on these groups that if I came in and said something, people would believe that to be true, or they trusted my opinion, or they tag me in something and ask, what do you think? And, I would also float in there, oh, and if you're interested in management, but so I think people were aware of what I did and the company and things like that. But I can't say that I directly got a lot of business because of that, but I feel like that kind of made me a presence in those communities and in those groups.
Yeah, I think that's worked for me a number of times is just helping the person. You see them ask a question, letting them know, providing, whatever the vendor they're asking for. If they're like, hey, who's the photographer? And you're like, you've used a photographer a bunch of times. Like, yeah, just letting them know. And then, yeah, dropping that hint and say, hey, I do management. Let me know if you need any help with anything else. That shit works all day long. Another question I have for you. So like around roughly 60 listings, what's your team look like today? What's your team look like?
Yeah, I mean, we have myself, and I primarily focus in on the LA markets just because I live here. We have an operations manager who lives in Indio and kind of covers anything really in person that's needed. And she runs the cleaning teams and runs the maintenance teams, handles things with owners, handles things with the city. We have a communications person who does all of our communications with guests. And then we have a virtual assistant who does a lot of our admin stuff and tracking stuff and things of that nature. We had 2 virtual assistants before, but it was getting too messy because one would jump in and the other would take over, and it was different workflows and different styles. So we just made one of them full-time instead of 2 of them part-time. So those are the main players, but then obviously we have our cleaning team, which is essentially our right arm. We have a handyman and all of our vendors and things like that, but none of those people are staff positions. It's all, outsourced. But it's tight. It's a small operation,
Yeah. So if you were to look back to where like when you started, 3.5 years ago, what was like the first thing that you wish that you could have implemented?
I think I wish I would have brought in an operations manager sooner, because I mean, it's hard to say that because, the money isn't fully there to, I guess, quote unquote, satisfy my own needs and also be able to pay someone who's worth it. I will admit I did not take the advice of pour all your money back into the business. I chose to do a lot of the work myself, which I don't regret because I really feel like I mastered it and I could then train someone and stuff like that. But I mean, in terms of my stress and work and all that stuff, hiring an operations manager or someone really to be able to help me with day-to-day stuff, I would have loved to have done sooner, and I could have. But that was the biggest breath of fresh air for sure. Was getting a lot of this day-to-day stuff off my plate. I also didn't have business insurance because I didn't know what that was in the beginning. And then I learned about that, and that is a good thing. I mean, nothing happened because I didn't have it, luckily, but that was something that I had to learn. I've definitely learned a lot about business stuff. I will say. I mean, I feel like I have an inherent, like, I kind of get it to begin with, but there's a lot of nuances in there that you don't really understand until you realize you need it, or you didn't have it, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. But yeah, I would say that operations manager is definitely the thing I wish I did sooner.
How long did it take you to hire the operations manager?
Like 2 weeks. It was crazy.
No, I mean, like how many properties were you at when you got there?
She has been with us for a year, so I think we were at about 45. And,
so you're doing all by yourself at 45?
Well, it was me and the person doing the guest messaging. So then I kind of was leaning on her to really be the operations manager, but it really is not her skill set. In terms of like organization, like I'm very like I'm type A with a lot of things. So I like things done in a certain way. I like communication done in a certain way. And it just wasn't her strong suit, but she was great with guest communication. So I found myself having to jump in and having to do what she was supposed to do and this and that. So it was just the two of us. And then we got an admin person. We got the operations manager, and she's really great in person with houses, with people, but she's not super techie. So then we ended up getting an admin person who was to help her with all the tech side of her job. But then that admin person also really helped me out. They do all our invoicing. They do like all end of the month stuff. Like it's just been, in the past year, we've added all these people, and it's really been great. But yes, I was doing a lot for 45 houses. And,
dude, you held off for a long time.
I did, but I'm very glad I did it. So,
golly, you waited till 45. Oh my God.
And I mean, the truth is, like, it ran okay. Like, it was just, I'd have to run out from dinner and answer a phone call or a movie or stuff like that. And I was just done with that life. It was exciting
okay until you were tired of it.
It was exciting in the beginning, but then it's like, I don't want to deal with this anymore, so.
Paychecks looked better. The paychecks looked better at 45. Probably, I would assume.
Yeah. You know what? I worked it in a way where, like, it's not, I didn't have to change that much because, one person's job was being reduced pretty much in half, and then the other person's job was being created. So it definitely hurt, but we also grew a lot. But 45 to 60, that pretty much made up for everything. I think we actually made 10% more this year than we did last year, and I hired all these people. So
it sounds like you need to hire another one now. No.
If we took on those people with the 6 or 7 really big houses, I would have moved my operations manager to spend a lot more time on those. And then we would have hired someone else to handle. We do these things called wellness checks once a month. We do a complete like head to toe walkthrough of every property. Probably would have hired someone else to handle those on those other properties and things like that. So, but yeah, soon, hopefully we'll be getting more people.
So, okay. So, and the reason I'm asking these questions, I'm trying to like ask the questions for the people that are starting out or people that are just listening. You know, I mean, I know you listen to our podcast. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'm just messing. But what was like when you were like scaling your business or even building your business, like what was like the hardest, the biggest slap in the face for you, like the biggest hit to reality that where you're like, oh shit, like, or like the biggest mistake, or some kind of good advice we can give some people here.
And this is a boring admin answer, but I truly feel like in this specific industry, having a really good grasp and understanding of insurance is crucial. We have had people who have injured themselves on one of our properties, threats of being sued, this and that. And it wasn't until that point that I realized my insurance didn't cover me in the way I thought it did. And I was scrambling and freaking out and this and that, and had to change a bunch of things and lost money and so on and so forth. And that really threw me for a loop for a bit. It's a super boring answer, but I mean, that's the thing that I think was a real like knee knocker moment for me. Outside of that, I mean, nothing is coming to mind immediately. I feel like I kind of have a knack for this stuff. I would say, I think going into this business, I expected guests to be the people that would require the most attention and stuff. But in fact, I think it's sometimes the owners and not the guests. And that is something that I think isn't bad, but I didn't expect. So I think that's another thing to understand about managing other people's properties versus managing your own. If that because a lot of people, they manage their own and they really like it and they want to do it for other people. But I think you have to anticipate and expect that you're not just dealing with the guests, you're also focusing on the owners, who in turn can be just as difficult, if not more difficult than those guests. So, and you're not only now a hospitality manager to guests, you're in client services to your owners. And sometimes things are going to happen and you're just going to have to eat it and say, okay, I'm going to lose $250 on this, but that's better than losing a client or getting into an argument or something like that. At least that's my strategy. I know a lot of people that would rather get into an argument, but that's not me.
Dude, that's a fact. That's a fact. I think some owners are like guests. Like some of them are just like little kids, like I had this one guy and he stayed at his house and he trashed it. And like the cleaner was like, hey, it's trash. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, all right, well, let's slide this time. Like, that's really weird, like it's never happened before. It's just really weird, new cleaner. And then like stayed at his house again and then he trashed it again. So then we had to be like, hey, dude, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you trashing your house for this cleaner? Like, You never trashed your house the whole damn time. You just getting too shit-faced. Like, you feel rushed to leave your own house. Like, what's the deal? Like, communicate, because the cleaner's going to charge you extra and I'm going to charge you extra because, you're affecting my relationship with the cleaner, which is going to in turn affect your relationship with your money because you're not going to make any money because the cleaner's going to quit. And then we have to find a new cleaner and then we're not going to be able to get, book your house. But it was like, God, the way she sent me the pictures and I look at him like, I couldn't believe that you would treat your own house that way. I'm like, what? Like you never. I've had this guy's been a client of ours for a year and a half. Never had a problem until like the last 2 months. And it's like, what is going on, dude? Like what?
Totally.
I
think for us, the thing that we come across, I wouldn't say it's too often, but often enough, is that owners expect their house to be exactly how they left it 6 months ago. Meanwhile, hundreds and hundreds of people have come in, they've made $40,000. But if this sconce is askew, or there's a small ding in this thing, it's like it's Armageddon. You know what I mean? And it's like, listen, like this is we call it a cost of doing business, right? Some things are going to go missing, some things are going to get messed up, but you just made a money. You made a lot of money to help pay this thing off, and that comes with the territory. So, but I think my main point is just if you're getting into this business, understand that you are not just managing guests, you are managing owners as well.
Yeah, and it could be just as difficult. Yeah.
Or just as easy.
Just easy. Yeah. I mean, some don't even talk
for all my owners out there. We love you.
Yeah, all the way. Yeah. I have one that just texts me and says, "Hey, long guy's coming." Okay, that's never hears nothing else from him. But yeah, some of them are great. So what kind of how's your model set up? I'm assuming because you're in California, you're probably like co-host model. Ooh, he froze. He looks like he's praying. Oh, there you go.
I'm in a guest Wi-Fi area, so my 60 minutes was just up.
Oh,
but I'm
fancy.
back.
Oh, look at that. Taking his call from the airport, everybody. You guys should learn a lesson. I'm just kidding. So I guess you missed the question then. So so is your business, because it's in California, is it a co-host model, or you like you got a broker's license out there? I'm assuming that's what's required in California. I'm not really 100% sure.
We do a lot of co-hosting. We don't necessarily do co-hosting.
Well, Austin, so we lost him. So how are you, Austin?
I'm good, man. I guess his time was up. He only had enough time for a little half a podcast.
This is going to be a good episode. I like this. I like the fact that people keep disappearing. You disappeared last episode. Your internet dropped when we were talking to Sam. We were talking to Sam a couple episodes ago. So that was interesting. Remember. Oh, Josh is back, everybody. The podcast can continue. Oh, are you clicking it too, Austin?
I'm not
okay. I'm clicking add stage. Austin's clicking add stage. So you keep coming on and then off and then on and then off.
I gotta keep you guys on your toes.
No, this is the kind of stuff that people probably like, I hope. I mean, I'm assuming the glowing reviews that you guys all leave all the time show us that. You should probably leave some more glowing reviews and share the show a lot more often if you think you're having a good time with us. But yeah, I think we're having a good time. So back to the co-host model, the model you're using. Explain, sir.
So in California, short-term rentals actually don't follow the same rules and regulations as, I guess, call them regular rentals. So you don't have to have a broker's license to do short-term rentals. But we do co-hosting, we do regular management and stuff like that. If you want us to do co-hosting, it costs more, because you could theoretically end your relationship with us and keep everything that we've done, all the reviews and everything like that. But it's pretty much split. It's really up to the owner and what model they want to choose.
Oh, I like that. That's smart. So you charge a higher percentage versus you doing like trust accounting, collecting the funds.
Yeah.
You charge them a higher percentage more.
2% more.
Because they keep the listing and all the reviews.
And
pictures.
Yes, that as well. But also when they're co-hosting, they will have insight into the messaging with the guests on Airbnb. And that's just now they're going to see it. Now they're going to text us. Now we have to deal with more. So it's no one goes for it really.
You don't change your password?
My password?
No, their password.
No, it's their Airbnb account. If we're co-hosting on their listing, then I mean, I don't know. I feel like they should be able to access their account, right?
I guess.
Otherwise, why are we co-hosting? I guess to keep the listing.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's cool. That's actually interesting that you charge more for that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're getting something out of it, because part of us owning the listing is that if you leave us, you have to understand that you're starting over.
Yeah.
But again, maybe like 10% of our people do co-hosting. So it doesn't, if anything, it probably pushes them away from that, which is what we want. So.
Oh, I like that. That's pretty smart. So in California, you can collect the funds if it's short-term rental. So my assumption is it's kind of similar to Texas. You're not allowed to like create leases or sign leases or
Yeah.
stuff
So
like that.
because also Airbnb is technically the entity that is receiving the payment. Like we are not receiving it directly from guests. It's going through Airbnb first. So that bypasses that rule of we can't collect rent. So things of that
Oh,
nature.
okay.
So as long as I don't pick up a physical check, if I go through Stripe, if I go through Airbnb or whatever, it's a third party payment processor.
So what do you think, like in this industry and in your business, like what do you think your superpower is? Like what is the thing that you're really good at that you're like, hey,
Yeah.
like this is what I do really well? What would that be, you think?
Yeah, there's two things. I think we touched on it earlier. Number one is communication. I think like I said earlier, my dad trained me to be an excellent communicator and to always get back to people, give full context when giving answers, don't create conflicts, but mainly response time, especially with guests. I know our guests all the time are always saying, wow, that was quick. Like, thanks for getting back to me so fast. My whole thing, which is part of my pitch to owners is, if you're a guest and you're somewhere and the hot tub is broken and you let the host know, and then 4 hours go by and they don't respond, you're sitting there, you're stewing, you're getting pissed off. And that's not a good thing, especially for the reviews at the end. Whereas if you, within 2 minutes, respond and say, hey, I'm so sorry about this. Let me call someone and let me look into this for you. Doesn't mean you have to have an answer right there, but I have acknowledged that you have a problem and I am working on fixing it. That could be the difference between a 3 and a 5-star review right there. Because even if we can't fix it, sure, things happen, but they see that we're working on it. So that is something that I pride myself in, that I make sure our company prides themselves in, and something we tell owners. Now, we are also the same way with owners. If an owner texts me at 9:30 at night, I'm probably answering them 30 seconds later. Probably shouldn't, but it's just, it's almost like I'm going to feel nervous if I leave something undone and unread. And now they've gotten used to that. So now they're expecting it. But at the same time, I'm fine to do it. I mean, that's number one. Number two is our systems. I think, me personally, I think I'm just very good at creating systems and creating methods of organization and tracking through our systems like Slack and Notion and Hostaway and things like that. Like everything has its own workflow, tracking everything, doing end of the month stuff. And I feel like we're able to keep our team really small. We could probably take on, honestly, 15 more properties and not need to grow. But it's because of our systems that I think that's why. And that's not an easy thing to do or to learn, because it all starts in here. I mean, you can download templates and stuff, but it might not work for you. So, those are the two things I think that separate us. Outside of that, I think there's a lot of similarities between other management companies, but I feel like we're just good at what we do.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, that makes sense. Yeah, so on the systems thing, like I guess a question that I have for you is like, if in your mind, like one thing that comes to your mind is like, what's one system that you're really proud of that you have in your business that maybe you've built out and you're like, hey,
Yeah.
we do this and I did this, I built it out and I'm super proud of this.
Probably our pool heat system.
That's interesting.
A lot of the properties in Palm Springs, I mean, every single one of them has a pool. Every single one of them has a pool heater. So part of our requirements in order to work with us is that we have remote access to the pool heater, and that there's something called a spa side remote. So when a guest arrives, they are able to control the hot tub and the lights for free, and they can turn it on and off, but they don't have access to the pool heat. So the process is, if a guest wants to heat the pool for their stay, we will send them a message right when they book. Hey, if you want to heat the pool, please let us know. It's $85 a day. If you're interested in that, let us know what days, and we will send you a request. They'll say, I want 3 days of pool heat. We'll send them the request. Once they pay that, we will then send it through Slack, through a channel called Pool Heat Schedule. And it'll say name, listing, check-in date, check-out date, turn pool heat on date, turn pool heat off date. And then the admin person will take that, put it into Notion, into our pool heat chart, and put that into the database. And then they will, on that date, turn the pool heat on, and on that date, turn the pool heat off. Then after she turns it on and off, she will screenshot that it's on and off, send it back to that channel in Slack as a reply. So it's all in one thread. So it's a lot of steps, but it will cover us in every single circumstance that could potentially happen. And
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I've looked into ways of automating this, but it's impossible given the level of customization for each property. Like if we were strict and said if you want pool heat, it's for your entire stay. That's it. That's the only option. Then I could automate it because you turn it on check-in date, you turn it off on checkout date, right? But if someone's staying for 2 weeks, I'm not going to force them to spend $85 a day for 2 weeks when they only want it for the weekend when their grandkids are coming to visit. So there's things like that. So we built this system, and then there's a million things like that, like driver names for HOA. It's the same flow. It goes Airbnb to Slack to Notion back to Slack. And we use that process for a lot of things.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely not operationally wired by any means. That's not my cup of tea. That's not the purpose I serve in the business. But that's very interesting. I'm curious. I know we have a system to do it, but I don't know how we do it. We just track it some way or another.
Once you get it, you get it. It sounds complicated and it sounds like a lot of steps, but it's and then there's the money aspect of it, tracking the money. We collect the money. We actually give the owners the entire amount of the pool heat. We don't take a percentage of the pool heat because the gas bills are just insane. So, it's all tracking the money and then putting it into the owner statements at the end of the month. So it's all in part of that system.
That's a huge value add that you guys do that and then just pass it directly back. Well, I mean, I guess that makes most sense, but I think most people would probably take a percentage on it. But yeah, maybe it's not that big of a deal, but it is just one more thing like you could mention when you're talking to owners of we'll collect that on your behalf.
It's a selling point. It also, there's a few decisions that we've made along the way that are purely A, accounting things, and B, time and energy things from us. So in HostAway, when you create specific formulas that go into your owner statements, there was no way to differentiate, especially from Airbnb, when you use the resolutions center to request a payment, there's no way to differentiate what's a pool heat payment and what's an early late checkout or a this or that. So there's only one column for everything that came through the resolution center. And then we would have to go back and say, okay, what was this? Now I have to take 20% off of that and add it as an expense. So purely for workflow, we decided to just give it all to them because it was much easier. And same with supplies. For a long time, we were charging people for toilet paper, charging people for paper towels, trash bags, stuff like that. All we did was raise our percentages and we just included it because now I don't have to track how much we spent, what did we bring, how much do I bill back to the owner. It was a time suck. And honestly, for a negligible amount of money that we lose a year, we now created a workflow that is easy on the owners, is a great selling point for owners to hire us because we're now including that when no one else does. And we save a ton of time and ton of work for maybe $1,500 a year loss.
Yeah, I do something similar with the supplies.
Yeah.
Like I supply all the supplies, but I charge like 15 or 20 bucks on the cleaning fee. And then, it negates itself over the year because I collect the cleaning fee and then I supply, all the toiletries, soap, shampoo, whatever, all that stuff. Exactly. But it's cool because it's kind of makes it a brand because no matter what house they stay at, they're going to get the same stuff. So it just makes it pretty simple.
Totally.
I apologize to interrupt, Austin.
Oh, no, you're good. How are you offsetting that cost if you used to bill back for supplies? Or did you say you're doing a higher percentage? Or are you doing like Matt said, where you're just making it into the cleaning fee?
Well, we started at 20% when we started. That was and then it was 22% with co-hosting. We then got someone who reached out to us and said, hey, I was working with this managed company. I want to switch. I was paying them 25%. What's your rate? And I said, 25%, just like them. And they went, okay, cool. And then they hired us. So it was then that I started to think, and we were already having all these issues with, how many supplies do we bring? What did we bring? We had a whole tracker of what we brought to what house, and it was getting annoying. And I was like, okay, well, if I can just raise everything to 25, and then I can then incorporate this in, that would work out. But just like Matt said, we also added $10 to $15 on the cleaning fees as well. So I mean, everything is covered. I couldn't even tell you if we make or lose money on supplies, but that whole process being eliminated and having us not have to worry about it, that has been worth everything for sure.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, gotcha. Is there any problem you're trying to solve today that you're putting into your business to make it run more functional? Whether it be signing more clients, what are you working on any projects today that you're trying to put in to improve your business?
Well, we're definitely looking to grow. I would say right now, in the last 2 or 3 months, growth has definitely slowed down. I think there's two factors. I think number one, not a lot of people are buying properties in Palm Springs and in LA right now. And I think not a lot of, I think the second part is during the high season of Palm Springs, all the houses are rented out. Nobody is buying new houses and getting them rent. Like the turnover of ownership in properties is typically in the summer. But I would say we are definitely looking to grow. I'm definitely very interested in acquiring a company to fold into our mix. I think that's where we met Austin, in that Facebook group for buying properties, which I personally, I think it should just change to property managers helping property managers. I mean, like I feel like I feel like maybe you and me can start that Facebook group. It should exist, because I feel like people on there are not really willing to help as much because it seems like competition or something. But I feel like there could be a need for that. Anyway, losing my point.
I feel like
Uh,
that Facebook group I feel like it's great for like knowledge, like you said, but I feel like everyone in there is trying to do the same thing. So it's like,
I feel like I feel like there's an appetite for a group where it's just, I'm just asking a question. I'm just looking for help. Like I understand, like, I'm not going to help you if you're in my market.
Yeah.
But like that group is really focused on buying and selling other management companies, which I get it. But like, I feel almost weird putting a question out there just about advice. I feel
Yeah.
like, so I don't know. I feel like there's an appetite
I'm
for
gonna
that. But
start a
anyway,
group right now called "Help a Host Be a Host." Because some people are freaking assholes, though. Like someone will
well,
ask a question, like even a
yeah.
novice question, and they'll be like, "Oh, you don't know this, idiot," and it's like, dude,
Well,
like
that's
you
that's
didn't
the
know that.
thing. That's the thing. It's like I'm part of a lot of host groups, and
Yeah,
that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about owners of vacation rental management companies only. Like it basically is the group that we're in, but it's not meant to just be about buying and selling companies.
you got to manage properties.
It's a support group. It's a support
Yeah.
group for owners of management companies, not just the person who has their Airbnb in their backyard.
I feel like
You
all
know?
those have broke off on like WhatsApp. I think Austin's part of some on WhatsApp, and I'm part
Oh
of some
man,
on
well,
WhatsApp.
I'd love to be a
And
part of
it's
that.
like,
I have no idea.
yeah. So,
But anyway, yeah, growing. I think right now the goal is to grow. I would love to acquire another company, something between 10 and 20 properties. I think that's very doable for us. It's just about finding them, putting in the work to find them. I don't really want to hire a business broker because I don't want to pay them 10%. So
I don't think
yeah,
the people you're looking for between 10 and 20 listings aren't going to be like listed anyways. Like you're
yeah,
going to have to, because I'm doing this actively as well. Like you're going to have to go on Airbnb and go into your market and kind of, you can
yeah,
use also the AirDNA property manager tab if you use that. Yeah,
mm,
that's a good one. You can set metrics there, but you'll have to just like find these people and actively reach out to them. Like just email
yeah,
them. Usually 10 to 15 to 20 is like the perfect size where you have to start building out a business, and a lot of people don't want to do that. And then it's like
yeah,
in order to get to the next level, you have to hire an operations manager, like we talked about. Like you have to start treating it like a business, because at the 15 to 20 range, like you're saying, that's the perfect place to go shopping, because those people are at a point where they're, like you said, getting text
yeah,
messages from owners at 9:30 at night and calling hot tub people and all this stuff and that stuff, and they're not treating it like a business. So they're great to reach out to. So that's what I've been doing. I've had a conversation with at least probably like, I would say At least 5 to 10 of them. For the most part, the general consensus is like, no, thanks for, reaching out. Like, let's stay in touch, but I'm not interested in doing that right
Sure.
now. Like, I want to grow it. So like just planting those seeds, I think it's a lot harder. It's doable, but it's like you're going after a bigger fish and there's less of them versus trying to get individual properties. Signing individual properties is, you can add 1 or 2 a month at our level, like no big deal, but you can't add 1 or 2 property management companies a month because there's less of them and it's a lot harder. So I'm in the same boat as you, but yeah, I think that's definitely doable. And since you already
Yeah.
said, you have the infrastructure and capability at this point to already take on 15, well, there you go. Like instead of trying to find, buy, sign 15 individual owners, go out and find that operator that has shitty photos and nice properties,
Yeah.
or find that operator that's like, man, I got nice properties, but I don't want to do this anymore. Like, can you make some kind of comfortable
No,
seller
totally.
finance exit for me? You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of ways
Yeah.
to do it.
No, I have a guy who's potentially interested, having a conversation with him, but he actually he doesn't have a company. He's just like him and he's running it all through like personal income taxes. And I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, okay, well, this is no offense to you, but technically I'm not buying anything. Like I can't buy
Yeah.
you physically. That's against the law, So like it's complicated. But yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. And it's very interesting. And I've never done anything like this. I mean, I've only literally been a business owner for 4 years. So I'm still kind of figuring it all out. But I enjoy it and I enjoy the lifestyle that it brings. And I enjoy that every day is different. But there are certainly
Does he
parts of it that
does that, oh, sorry to cut you off. Does that guy have properties that you want? Like, you're like, yeah, I
yeah,
would want all of these.
yeah.
So then you just say,
Definitely.
hey, this is how we can do it. Like you get every single one of them to sign a property management contract with me. You stay on for the next 6 months and say
Yeah.
you're going to keep your hands in the business to make sure it's smooth because they all love him, of course. And then you just say, hey, we'll just seller finance this thing somehow. And boom, there you go. Like if he's open to that. I don't
Well, I
know.
mean,
I don't know if
I
that,
was even, I think what I'd be most interested in is doing a revenue share instead of it, no upfront money. And he can have 40% of the commission up to X amount of dollars per property as long as they stay with us.
for what, for like a year or something.
No, well, I mean, like, let's say he values let's say his numbers are legit, right? I run it by someone, everything's legit. He wants $1 million and he has 10 properties. I'm just making this up. Each property in theory is $100,000, right? So you could give him 30 to 40% of your commissions for as long as it takes to get each property to $100,000. And if that property leaves, it's done. They're done. There's no more. Your million now goes down. I don't know if that's a fair thing. I don't know if that's a normal thing, but given that he doesn't have anything to buy, there are no assets being bought. There, in my opinion, there's no legitimate reason to give him any money up front. You're not purchasing any assets at all.
Yeah. So he doesn't, does he own the listings in the bank account or is he like a co-host?
I haven't. I think they would most likely be his listings, but what I do know is he does not have an LLC or an S corp or any sort of company. It all goes through his personal income taxes, and his contracts do not have a clause in it that says if the company is sold, it goes to the next company. So all you're doing is buying names and hoping that they sign with you.
Yeah, I would even just structure it as like, I'll give you this, like the X amount per contract is what it would be worth, right? Because you can't literally, it sounds like you can't even acquire his company. Like you'd have to
Well,
get
but
each
that's
one.
yeah, and that's what the thing is. I know what he wants, and I know he's going to want some amount of money. But my whole thing is, how can I limit my risk and not give him anything up front, and just say you can have a percentage of what I make so long as this person is with me up to X amount of dollars per property, and then he could maybe get his $1 million over 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, maybe that's wrong, but that's
I've seen people structure like that. Like, so like, for instance, like he doesn't have contracts that are signable. He doesn't have a business. He has anything. So basically like, it'd be like, for instance, I'll give you like this down payment, some nominal small amount, 10 grand, let's just say whatever. And then you can sell me the rest of it on seller finance based on the profits, through the profits.
right.
But it's based on X amount per contract. And the only reason I'm going to pay you X amount per contract, let's just say this contract makes 20 grand, right? Let's just say I'm going to pay you what that makes in 1 year or whatever, or half that.
Right.
They need to stay for that long.
Right.
So we had somebody on here before acquired something like that, and they were saying like they had to get, I don't know if you want to talk about Austin, but they said they had to get on a call with all the owners, explain what they were going to do, and say, hey, look, here's what we're going to do for everybody that stays. We're going to reshoot all your houses for free, like this kind of things to get everybody to stay, because the contracts weren't assignable. So basically they had them sign new contracts. So there's no evaluation on it until you understand how many contracts you're going to get, and the fact that they're not assignable. And I'm assuming the contracts are like month-to-month contracts, not even locked in for a year or 2 years or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we'd have to move them over to our contracts eventually, anyway. So,
and that's what you would do then and there, though. That's what you would negotiate with him, right? So, and then you would just say you'd pay him X amount per contract. It'd have to be a per contract basis, because you don't know who you're going to keep and who you're not going to keep.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, I had an experience personally where a larger company wanted to buy us, and this was within the last year, and they structured it as I guess 25% of the company's value up front, and then a 40%, 30%, 30% onward until the entire amount is paid off. So that's how that, and I have a company and I have contracts that are assignable and I have all these things. So that's why I'm just comparing it to that. So for someone that has nothing like I had, could be more no money up front, and it just all comes in pieces. But I don't know. I mean, I haven't really gone that deep into it.
Yeah, the value would be a lot lower.
Definitely. But yeah, that's the goals, I think, right now. Let me ask you guys a question, because this is something I've been pondering. I've gotten my company to a state where I'm not, knock on wood, I am not busy, going crazy, stressed out every single day. I have time on my hands. And I've, like I said, I want to expand, I want to grow, I want to do something. And my instinct says to just make this company bigger. But I know other people who have taken the cleaning in-house, or had, bought their cleaning company, and then they also own their cleaning company, which does their properties and other properties. I mean, do you have any experience expanding your business by not necessarily buying other management companies, but potentially bringing vendors in-house or purchasing the vendors' companies, and that's how you can expand or own another business or something like that? Or is that a bad idea?
No, I don't think it's a bad idea. I think these are the questions you start asking yourself, because we're at similar unit counts. So we're asking ourselves the exact same question, and I'm selectively having people on the podcast that are solving that problem. So I don't have an answer for us. It's weird. I think it's something that is inevitable. Like, it's something, if you want, it's a big profit center you're missing out on at scale. So the bigger you get, and I listen to Brooke with Ventori's podcast every day. I don't know if you've checked that out, like the 10 mistakes that property managers make. If you haven't listened to that, we had him on ours. Listen to his podcast. It's so good. And he has these vacation rental managers that are at, hundreds of units. And one of the common mistakes that they make is they all mention, I wish I would have brought cleaning in-house sooner. It becomes a big profit center for you. It is another business you have to take on. We haven't done it yet. We're trying to figure out if it makes sense for us. Well, the questions I guess you have to ask yourself is, where am I geographically located? Like, if you're like us, it may not make sense, because we're meeting with someone next week to see about, hey, is this somebody that we can bring in to manage cleaning in-house everywhere in the Central Texas area? Is it going to be profitable? I've seen it successfully done. And I've seen it successfully done by operators our size, whose units are geographically very close to each other. So people aren't traveling all around. Like, if your market is like you said, 2.5 hour radius. Hard for me to think like at your level that you would be able to bring that.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, my thinking, totally. I mean, we have a whole team just in the Palm Springs area, and then we have separate people in LA. But my thinking was essentially to buy, instead of buying a 15 to 20 unit management company, inquiring that, I could buy the cleaning company we currently hire. And not only would that cleaning company service us, which we would then make higher margins on, I can then own a cleaning company that cleans other Airbnbs that we don't manage and potentially be introduced to them and potentially manage those properties. I mean, it would essentially be running another company that would have management already in. They would have their systems, they would have their schedules. We know how it operates. I would just own it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the main thing on that is like the main thing on that would be the who. Like, who are you hiring and who is going to keep running it? Like, is Josh going to be now a cleaning company owner that runs it, or are you going to have the who that can come in and
Right.
say like, "Hey, I'll buy it, but I want you to stay and run it the way
Right.
you've been running it." That's the
Right.
thing. So yeah,
That
we're
would be
kind
the
of
thing. I
looking
don't
at the
want to
same
run it.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, then the episode that released last week, I think, was Jack with Haven Vacation Rentals in the Smoky Mountains, and they have like 270, 300 listings, and he did the exact same thing. So he has that many units that he manages, and then I guess his cleaning company manages a big chunk of the vacation rental market, and then they manage for other people. So that'd be a good one to go back and listen to. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Totally.
think for us, yeah, I don't know how we're going to do it. We'll figure it out though. But we're solving that same problem where it's like cleaning money comes in, cleaning money goes out, and you got to
I
start
mean,
looking at like at this scale.
I spoke with cleaning companies, like I spoke with a person who's actually started like 10 cleaning companies and then sold them. And I mean, I don't know what you guys do, but we're certainly making a little bit of profit off of every cleaning already. And they told me specifically, if you're already making profits on cleaning and you don't have to run any of it, don't get involved,
Yeah, we
because
don't make money
it's,
on cleaning. We don't make any money on cleaning.
yeah, I mean, our agreements with our owners is that we are going to pay for the cleaning no matter what it costs. So we are upcharging cleaning a little bit, because in the eventuality that we come across a $500 cleaning, we are not asking the owners for extra money. We're paying that out ourselves. So it's kind of like a little piggy bank for what if. But you do end up turning a profit in the end. But he said if you're already making some money, then it might not be worth it. But at the same time, it's more for me about time. Like, I'm ready to do something else, and like grow or fill my day with something.
Yeah. It's a tough one, man. I think the answer is different for
Totally.
everyone's business. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah,
okay.
I think everybody we talk to is about expanding cleaning or laundry or something. I think that vertical integration is hard, and that's what a lot of people are talking about. That and merger and acquisitions. So,
Yeah.
I think,
It's that or bringing a handyman in full time and then using them for not just handyman things, but for
yeah.
just
What do you do with them? Yeah, in full time after. Yeah, when it's not full time too. So,
right,
yeah,
exactly. And it's just it doesn't financially, that doesn't make sense right now.
yeah. Well, Josh George, thank you for giving us your time, man. We appreciate you coming on.
Of course.
This was a long one. The California Kid, episode 94. You guys need to like and subscribe and share. And Josh, just tell everybody where they can find you and follow you. And with that, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, you can follow us on Instagram, Deja Blue Vacation Rentals. You can also go to our website, which is also DejaBlueVacationRentals.com. It's blue like the color, not vu like the feeling. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
You're gonna film your own commercial, Deja Vu, Deja Blue.
It's
What a
yeah. You can write my jingles and my intros. How about that?
hey, there you go. As long as I get a little bit of money, that's
There
what
you
I'm
go.
all
He
about.
ain't he ain't cheap, man. Matt ain't cheap when he does those things.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, man. Appreciate it. And Austin, fire away.
All right. Thank y'all for listening. Peace.